everybody. Thank you for joining us today at RHE Podcast. This is Isaiah Diesel calling out of South Korea, and I am joined today with Ash. Ash, is that short for something?
Yeah, a little something, a little something. Man, I know you want to know. Ashley. That's my actual name. Yeah.
Ashley?
Ashley. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Oh,
Actually, I was engaged to a woman named Ashley, and I gave her the love name Ash Kosh Bagash.
man, you know something? I don't know if it could get any more creative than that. I really don't. I just feel like that's as creative as it can get. That's almost that's like right there along with Pikachu and
Mhm.
Bulbasaur, I think,
All right.
you know.
And where are you calling out of?
I'm in Florida. I am in Gainesville, Florida currently.
So
Yeah.
you're a gator.
First of all, right? More like a crocodile, not quite a gator. You get what I mean? So yeah, but no, not quite, not quite. You know, I'm waiting on them to win something. When they win a little something, then I
Eh,
might be a gator. We'll see.
I I gotta say very much. I'm very jealous of you. You want to take a guess why?
And why is that? Cause my hair. It got to be the hair, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody's jealous about the hair, bro.
I know. Actually,
Yeah.
you probably won't believe this, but when I was like 13, 14 years old, I used to have dread. Any chance you might be too young to remember Coolio? You know Coolio?
I remember Coolio
Okay,
like
okay,
yesterday.
okay. So I used
Yeah.
to, yeah, I was in the old school hip hop. I cannot listen to this hip hop that they produce these days, but I used to have these
Right.
like crazy dreads that
Yeah.
were like Coolio. So, and I used to rap and everything. We go through
What?
different
Listen,
stages.
man, you were the man back then. What? Why are we talking? I need to interview you. What's good?
I know, I know. So,
Yeah,
can you tell me just really quick, if you want to just give me like a 2 minute biography about yourself? Nothing too intense, but kind of just give me some of your background, where you grew up, family.
right, right. So, as far as my background, I was born in Gainesville, Florida, at Shands Hospital. I grew up mostly in Ocala, Florida, which isn't too far away from Gainesville, and I grew up in a Christian household, full-fledged Christian church all through the week. You know, the
Baptist.
works, literally the works. Actually, it was Pentecostal, but my family comes from a Baptist background,
I was
so
gonna
you
say,
know they just kind of like yeah, like slid into the Pentecostal
yeah.
arena.
Oh, okay. Did you
Yeah,
so did you still have the pastor who would start sweating and how to pull out his thing and
absolutely. With the
okay.
spit on the mic, yeah, and the mic would
and,
stay. Yeah,
and you had to
yeah.
have a 400 pound, at least one 400 pound black woman in the front with the fans. Do you have one of those?
Listen, about a 3, 4 of them, and they weren't playing no
Well, one
games. You can't chew no gum.
one's the minimum. So if you have four, then
Listen, it's a blessing. It's quadruple the blessing. Yeah, yeah.
all
We
right.
had them, the whole nine.
You're
So I
funny.
grew
I
up in
like you,
that.
man. I like you.
Man, listen, man. You know, I just be trying, man. I be trying to be likable, but sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Today is a good day.
All right.
So, but
I
yeah.
saw you just got engaged, by the way. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm definitely with the love of my life for sure. And I'm very happy about it. So thank you
Yeah.
for congratulating me on that. But yeah, so I grew up with that background, the whole 9 yards, and I always have people saying, "Oh, you know, you'll be a speaker or an apostle or a pastor or something, you know, things of that nature." I always get those talks. I was never afraid to speak in front of people. I just felt like I was yearning for something more. I felt like there was more to life than just Christianity, because that's literally all I grew up around. I didn't have any like incidents where I was molested or raped or anything like that. I didn't have any issues like in that regards,
Mm-hmm.
because we were definitely sheltered.
Mm-hmm.
I did spend some time with my dad, but it was not an extended period of time, but it was enough time to kind of get to know him and all of that. So he kind of opened me up to looking into other things, ideas of other things. But he did it more on a subtle basis. It wasn't anything that was big. But anyway, fast forwarding, I went through that in my adolescent years, and eventually I ended up moving down south. and getting into boxing. And I went through like 2 or 3 different boxing coaches before I got to my mentor. He's deceased now, but yeah, I got to him, my mentor slash master, and he really opened me up, like really showed me the game on spirituality. And I started realizing that it was more than just physical. I needed to be mentally and spiritually connected also. And so I started like delving down that road. And before I knew it, you know, I was doing fights and winning my fights. I only lost 1 fight, which was an amateur fight, my very first fight. And from there, I just kind of like kept growing. I kept growing. So I ended up, you know, now, which is where I'm now, personal training slash mentor, mindset coach is what I'm doing now, well, you know, currently. So, and I'm looking forward to transitioning more out of the personal training, more so than anything, and getting more into the mindset coaching, the mentoring, because that's something that I definitely enjoy. And I feel like that's the next step for me for sure. But as of now, I am still doing personal training. So
I
yeah.
see. So we like to do some icebreakers, and so I want to ask you a few questions about MMA and boxing, and then
Okay.
we'll get into kind of like the meat and taters and cornbread of what we're gonna be talking about.
Cornbread.
Yeah.
Right.
So okay. So first question is, who is your favorite boxer of all time?
Ooh. I can't really just put a one. I really love Sugar Ray Leonard.
Hmm.
And I do love Sugar Ray Robinson. They both have very unique styles. James Toney is also a favorite. So it's really hard for me to pick because everybody has a little something that, or a lot of something that I enjoy, like different aspects of fighting. You know, some with defense. James Toney has really good defense when it comes to, you know, the Philly shell. Just defense. His defense period is off the charts. Mayweather, his is the same. You know, but and he's a great counterpuncher. You know, so I can't really put my finger on just one. You know, I love the female fighters too. Clarissa Shields, definitely Lucia Riker. You know, I love their unique styles. Everybody is unique, so I love them as, you know, like the style that they do. You know, I really enjoy the styles, the way that they box or the way that they fight, just in general. So yeah, I don't have just one, man. Sorry.
No, it's good. It's all good. So I'm not into boxing really at all. But growing up, well, I'm gonna ask you this: how old are you?
27.
27. Okay. So you're
Yeah.
probably a little bit too young to. Yeah, I think you're definitely too young to remember Mike Tyson like in his glory days. You might have caught
Yeah.
like the end, maybe whenever he was biting people's
Yeah,
ears,
I
whatever.
caught the hot, yeah, and I, you know, look on YouTube at the highlights too. So
Okay, okay.
I know what you mean.
So he was just kind of like a terror growing up. But actually, a
Yeah,
personal favorite was Lennox Lewis, and
yeah.
I think he might be like the only boxer to ever like avenge both. He only had 2 losses, but he avenged
Mhm.
both of them. So that's kind of a
Yeah,
rarity.
yeah, it is.
Let's see. In MMA, actually, now I think about it, I believe what's his name, George St. Pierre, did the same thing because he had 2
Yes,
fights and then he came back and beat the guys.
and
So
came back.
yeah.
Yeah.
So um, I know you said you're not that much into MMA, but are there any fighters that you like in there?
Um, Adesanya, I think I said it
Oh,
correctly.
Adesanya.
Yes, that's my boy. Yeah, that's my boy. He really reminds me of Anderson Silva, for sure. Style bender because of the way he fights and he's so relaxed. And
Yeah.
with fighting, you have to be relaxed. You know, and not saying that you get lazy, but you have to kind of go into sleep mode a bit as you fight. You can't just be tense and tight the entire time because that's the sure way to, you know, lose like the majority of your stamina and end up in a hard spot, you know. I really enjoy his style. Really enjoy Anderson Silva when he was active. So yeah, but he's definitely at the top of the list. I will not kid. You know, and Clarissa Shields actually just recently made her debut and she won her MMA fights. She's trans, you know, she's moved over into MMA and
You say she's
she's
trans?
looking pretty good. Yeah, no, she's not trans. She's not trans.
Oh,
No,
oh,
I'm saying she like transitioned is the word I was
oh,
looking
okay,
for. It's
oh,
from boxing into
okay, okay,
MMA.
okay. And you got to
Yeah,
specify
yeah.
that.
She
I mean,
transitioned. Yeah.
we might disagree a little bit on this one because I do believe that trans people should have rights and they
Hmm.
shouldn't be discriminated against. But
Hmm.
on the other side, like being a feminist and being someone who cares about women, having a daughter and a wife, it's like,
Hmm.
man, if you were to let some people transition and get into the ring, they could
Hmm.
like do some really, really serious physical damage on women. So
Hmm.
that's it doesn't have to do with me and I think about discriminating and stuff. Like I really do think that we need to create like a third space for trans people,
Hmm.
but it's not fair. Like let's just take the bathroom issue. It's not fair to ask a trans person to go into a bathroom in which they're not going to feel comfortable with, right?
Right, right.
Let's say say you're born female, but you transition to a male, and
Mm,
so now you're a male. You're not gonna. It would be awkward for everyone, especially if you look like a male.
right.
It's not going to be right for you to go walk into a bathroom. Um, you know what I mean? Around a
Hmm.
bunch of women because you look like a
Hmm.
male. So that doesn't make sense, right?
Right.
But on the other side of that, you do. Okay, so if that's going to be uncomfortable for you, well, then you also have to think about the other people who are not going to be comfortable in there with you as well. So in South Korea, at the front of almost, because you know I live in South Korea, at the front of almost every toilet, they have like unisex stalls,
Hmm.
and I think a lot of them are mostly for like handicapped people. So
Hmm.
I know it'd be kind of like you don't want to say like a handicapped, like I know that sounds bad, but that just to me would be a compromise that would make everyone happy. Would you
Hmm.
agree with that?
Hmm. Well, um, here's the thing, right? What I like that I've been seeing recently, and I'm just gonna take a second to just kind of explain. What I like that I've been seeing recently is they have these family bathrooms out
Hmm.
here, right? So they have male, female, and then family.
Okay.
So if you're not really comfortable going into the male or the female, you can go into the family restroom also. Even if you don't have a family, people are going to use the restroom, period, point blank, right?
Hmm.
And I really think it's a nice concept to use just to kind of like remain somewhat neutral, you know what I mean, when it comes to that, because it is a sensitive situation,
Right.
you know,
Right.
when it comes to that, when it comes to the bathroom, sports, the whole nine. Now, as far as the bathroom, I do think that over the years, as we continue to evolve and grow, there will be more creative ways to, you know, as far as like the restrooms, as far as like any spaces where, you know, there you know, people who are MTF or FTM, you know, female to male, male to
Yeah.
female, where they can feel more comfortable and feel more accepted. um so I think it's a unique idea, you know, it's a unique way to go about things. Now, as far as sports, I would definitely agree with you on the having a third section
Hmm. Hmm.
for right, because, you know, let's look, if you're looking at biology, you know, technically a male to female going inside of a female race or cage fighting or something like that, it can be very dangerous for a biological female,
Right.
because, you know, that's a whole nother level of strength.
Hmm.
Like, we're here to compete. I
Hmm.
want to win. If I'm a male, if I'm a male to female, I want to win. So I'm going to use everything I have to make sure that I win. But on the other hand, so because me being unbiased and non-partial about it, on the other hand, it's going to force women, biological women, to really use their head, use their smarts, use whatever they can to make sure that they win and they stay on top. Yes, it's dangerous, but at the same time, it's a push as well. It's like, okay, if I'm competing against a man, or like let's just put it in I would say straight terminology. If I'm competing against a man, I'm gonna make sure I use everything to my best ability. You get what I'm saying? Right? If we want to just be ignorant, if we're using the ignorant way to say things, but I do think it could be a way to push women. So there's really no concrete like, okay, this is right and that's wrong. There's always like sides to things, and I try to make sure I look at both sides. And I don't want to just sit and just be like, oh, this is this and that's that and that's the end, because really, realistically, it's not. Because we're living in a time and era where LGBTQ was not accepted.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah.
So this podcast is a matter of expressing different ideas and being respectful, though. I could say very frankly, I don't agree with the LGBTQ lifestyle. Like that's my prerogative. That's my religion. It doesn't mean that I want to use hurtful language towards you guys or pass laws that are going to hurt you. Like I kind of fall in a category that really not even all LGBTQ. Did I TQ?
Hey,
agree
listen.
with. It's confusing. There's too many. You just need
a lot of letters.
2 or 3. Yeah, like 2 or 3.
A lot of letters.
They're adding more. But anyway, not even the people who are in that community don't agree that hate speech should be illegal. But I do. I believe that hate speech should be illegal because it's the same thing as when they say you can't walk into a movie theater and shout like fire or whatever. Like because it has the potential to hurt people, like, and I'm sorry to use this example, but let's just say, because this was in a movie, Bruce Willis was in a movie, a Die Hard, I believe it's Die Hard, but the guy forces him, they have like a bomb on something, and they literally force him to go hold a sign that says, I hate N-words, okay? I'm not gonna use the word, but so even doing something like that, even if it's likely to cause harm to yourself, because if you go out and do that, chances are someone's going to walk up and do something to you, right? So even if you do some kind of speech like that, technically it's free speech, but it's likely to cause harm to yourself. So speech in which you're using, in which you're trying to cause some kind of violence, like even what Donald Trump did in the Capitol riots, like that should not be protected speech, in my opinion. But I mean, we could agree to disagree on that point. Whether or not it could or it should, but I would understand people to say, "Hey, this is a totally free rights issue," and I understand that. I'm not going to sit here and argue if that's what you believe. Like I have my opinions and you have your opinions, but I think if you think of the letters of this podcast, RHE, respect, humility, and empathy. 1, have respect for each other, even if you disagree. 2, have empathy, which is to try to see from the other person's perspective. And 3 is have the humility to understand you don't have the solution to every last problem in the universe. We're all learning, we're all being flung into the universe together. And so it's a process in which we can learn and, let's try to grow from trying to see things from the other person's perspective. What do you think about that?
I think it's definitely an interesting way to go about things. I think it is a very nice way to go about things, especially when you disagree, on certain things, treating people with respect and try at least trying to understand, making the attempt to understand what's going on. Not saying that you agree, just because you understand doesn't mean you agree. You get what I mean? Right. Some people tend to mix the two and think that they coincide, but no, they do not. Just because I understand doesn't mean I necessarily agree with my personal views.
Sure.
So, I just feel like it is a really good way to be inviting and welcoming to people of differences. You get what I'm saying? Let's just say different, right? Because at the end of the day, whether you believe in God or whether you believe in, whatever religion you believe in, at the end of the day, we're all here for a reason, exactly how we are. So if we're here for a reason, exactly how we are, well, then maybe you should be trying to figure out what that reason is instead of focusing on one thing that you don't care for because that's all you know and that's what you grew up around. You get what I'm saying?
I'm gonna go get my organ, man. The rest of this podcast, you just go on. You just kick it, sister.
And listen, man, I'm ready for the Holy Ghost. Okay, I'm ready.
Yeah. All right. So you know what? that being said, I do want to transition to the main topic.
Right.
If you'd like, at some point, I would like to just have a whole talk about the whole LGBTQ.
ABC community. Right.
I was gonna say,
got
what
you.
are the other? I don't want to. It's like it's kind of a weird point because like I have like a position that's not it's not accepted from either side, because like the atheist or the LGBT, they want me to affirm, and no, I don't affirm. But then
Mhm.
the conservatives want me to discriminate and to hate, and I know I'm not going to do that either. So I can't make
Right.
either side happy. So it's it would be interesting to have a whole full conversation on that later on if you are interested. But the main
Right.
topic of what we are talking about is like training and kind of like mentality and things like that. And so
Okay.
specifically about boxing and well, just I think the same principles in life with boxing. Can you tell me that? Do you think that the principles you learn in boxing are transferable to your daily life?
Honestly, anything that you learn is transferable into your regular life. So my mentor used to tell me, whatever you do in one area, it's going to spill over into other areas. So it doesn't matter what it is. If you have discipline in one area, it will spill over. If you don't have discipline, it will spill over. So whether it's boxing, whether it's whatever sport that you do, or if it isn't a sport, whatever you do on a regular basis, in one area of your life, it will spill over. There is no question about it. In one way or another, in some shape, form, or fashion, it will spill over. You may not be able to recognize it. You may not recognize it at all, but it does. Even if it's minute, it still spills over. So most definitely, I definitely believe that if you're learning boxing, it will, and you learn that skill, and because there's more that comes to
Right.
it than the skill. That there's actual like emotions behind it, a
Right.
certain mentality behind it. So you'll start to apply that mentality and those emotions with other things also. You develop discipline, you develop a lot, with boxing,
That
or any martial art.
that's an interesting way to put it.
Mhm.
I think you're right in that sense. Like, one, you may not realize it directly, but it does. Things do spill. Like, people try to compartmentalize their lives, and it's not exactly as easy to compartmentalize as you might think. One,
Right.
we recently just had an Olympian who spent like 12 years in prison, and then he got out and then became an Olympian afterwards, which is a
Mhm.
crazy, amazing story. And that's one of the things that he said there when we asked, like, what are your advice for anyone who's trying to overcome whatever situation that they're in? And he says, is how you do one thing is how you do all things. Like, people want to skip corners on the little small things. And he said that it's not, you can't always do, like, it's gonna affect the other realm and in one way or another, whether
Right.
you realize it or not. So
Right.
that being said, okay, first of all, so how long have you been boxing for?
Ooh, so I've been boxing. Oh, let's see. We're in 21, right? So probably I've been boxing for like maybe 7 years, 6, 7 years.
Wow. You can answer these from boxing or just in life in general. I would like to hear both. Don't limit yourself to one. But how do you overcome mental blocks in life?
Me personally, right? So if you're asking me personally, and first of all, I want to say there's no concrete answer when it comes to overcoming mental blocks. And the reason why is because everybody is made differently, thinks differently, grew up in different environments, etc. So there's really no concrete answer. There are answers that we have in common that you can use, that you can apply and see if it works for you. But there is no concrete answer. For me, when I did have a mental block, I had to find my motivation. So, and most of the time it was something simple, something that made me happy, something that made me genuinely happy that I enjoyed doing. And in me enjoying doing this one thing, it kind of opened up, my eyes and my focus on other things. So I actually literally took my focus off of what the mental block was and put my focus on what was making me happy. So sometimes I would just draw because I can draw pretty well. So I just draw and I'd feel good, I'd feel happy, and I'd run with that feeling. And sometimes I would listen to a certain song at a certain time. You know, I'd get the feeling to listen to a certain song at a certain time, and that would help build on what I already started, the little bit of happiness that I already started, you know, brewing. And then and the more I started doing things that were genuinely making me happy, the more that mental block started to just fade, and I started to kind of see different ideas and see like different ways of doing things. And whatever I had, whatever the issue was at the time, I was able to just get past it, you know, little by little, doing these little things, doing things like literally taking myself away from it and finding something that made me happy, you know,
Wow.
and just focusing on my happiness for a
That's
second.
that's so interesting that you're
Yeah.
talking about the happiness there. That's really fascinating. That's where you seem to make that connection there. So that's I really hope someone listening will hear that and have it stick out to them. By the way, I love your southern drawl. Like, I love how you guys can't pronounce the letter I. It's like, it's not time, it's time. Or
Time.
ma.
My.
I
Why?
love it. Wow. Actually,
Why? Yeah.
actually, I have a UK host from the England, and so they have some interesting little ways that they say stuff. So
Yeah.
they like when they're A, they put I's in their A, so they don't say day, they say die. So I tell him, I type to him sometimes, I say good die might. I'm like I hope you die to die. So I kind of just joke with him.
Basically, you play too much. You play too much. That's what it is. That's all you're telling me. You play too much.
Well, no, we just want people laughing in these podcasts, so we don't
Right.
want to take
Absolutely.
it too seriously. Okay,
Absolutely.
so where do you find motivation in life? What gives you motivation?
You know, and just tying back into that happiness. When I'm happy, I feel motivated. I feel motivated to do something. So let's say I'm happy about something in particular, right? I'm happy about maybe just winning a fight, right?
Mhm.
That motivates me to want to keep fighting. You know, let's say I have a bill that's due, but I just found a job on Craigslist or something like that. Finding that job or finding that ad to possibly get a job makes me happy, and it motivates me to go keep looking for another job. You get what I mean? When you really take the time out to try to make yourself happy, you start opening up doors, you know, to other places that you didn't think that you would be able to. You can't open a door in a negative mindset necessarily, not the kind of door that you're looking for necessarily. You know, unless you're just full-fledged negative and that's all you're looking for is negative. Or, you know, you ever seen somebody that's full of drama? Like everywhere they go, it's always some drama. They can't go nowhere. It's a problem. They got somebody to talk about, somebody to gossip about. That's the door they keep opening. You know, that's what makes them happy. Unfortunately or fortunately, that's what makes them happy. So you have to have that same mindset when it comes to motivation. Like, what's going to make me happy? If it makes me happy, it's going to make me feel good. And if I feel good, I can do good. You get what I'm saying? That's the idea.
Right.
If I feel good, I'm going to do good, you know?
Wow, I've never made those kind of connections that you're making like that. So I think that's very powerful that you're saying that. Why is it the case that most people don't achieve their goals and their dreams? Like, I could safely say that the majority, like over 50%, they're not doing the things that they want to do. They're sometimes stuck in jobs that they don't want to be in, or they have an idea to do a book or to start a business or to travel or whatever it might be, that they don't get around to doing that. I tell you this, for me personally, a big part of my life, I was really focused on trying to please other people, which was my mom. So I didn't pursue the education that I wanted to pursue because my mom was strong arming me to go and to pursue ministry. And so she was pushing me to go into Bible college. And I didn't want to do that because I wasn't really a believer. She was trying to force me to find my faith. I mean, I found my faith very later on, 32 years of age in my life. But I was doing that for her. One, so it wasn't legitimate. It wasn't a legitimate conversion that I was having, while at Bible college. So it wasn't even to my benefit. But as a result of doing that, I couldn't pursue my desires in education. So I was really focused on doing that, and it held me back in my life. It continually holds me back. That if I would have done what I'd wanted to have done, rather than trying to appease my mom. So that's an issue for me. But what did you say for your other people? Can you give me an idea?
And I'm gonna try to make it as simple, short, sweet, to the point. I'm not gonna lie. Most people that are in that predicament, they stop believing that they can reach their goals. They stop believing.
That's true.
And sometimes, and this isn't, like I said, there's no concrete answer, but this is definitely an aspect of it. And when you stop believing, you just stop everything. You stop the whole ship. You stop the whole ship, because the ship is moving based on how much you're believing, or if you're believing in what you're doing or what you say you want to do or not. And in your case, right, because it can work either way, you believed in your mother more than your actual dream that you had. And so because you believed in what she was saying so much, trying to appease her and trying to make things, you know what I mean? Like trying to make things happen for her, there was no room or no way you could believe in what you really wanted to do. There was really no time to, because you're too busy believing in what mom said, because what mom says, that's what it is. And then I believe what she's saying is right to some degree, to some extent, not saying that's specifically what was going on, but there was belief there that you believe that mom was right. So let me go do what mom says do. I want to make sure mom is happy. So I believe in mom. So that happens a lot. People stop believing, they don't get their first sale. Oh man, I don't think this is for me anymore. They don't get the clientele that they thought they would get. Ah, man, this isn't it for me anymore. Meanwhile, you have people like Jack Ma who didn't actually, I think he got rich off of it, or maybe he started building on Alibaba at 40.
Wow.
So it took him a long time to get, but he didn't stop believing that he could do something. He just probably didn't know what it was specifically. And so just a quick thing to help people believe. Habits, man, habits. What you do on a regular basis makes the difference. It helps you believe. Okay, so the idea is the more I practice something, the more it becomes a habit. The more it becomes a habit, the more I believe. You get what I'm saying? So yeah. And that's how you can keep your belief going. You got to keep practicing whatever it is that you say that you want or you're going to do. So that you can get to the point to where you actually believe in it, and will come rain, hail, sleet, or snow, you're going to make it happen. By any means necessary, you're going to keep on believing in it. Now, I know they say, well, some people, they have this false sense of security in something that they're doing, or maybe they've been doing it for a long time, and it's just like, it's not getting anywhere. They're not going anywhere with it. They're not, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, why are you doing this? It's not making any sense for you to keep doing it. But at the same time, I'm looking at it like this. That's not it's not your position. Okay. It's not for you to tell that person they can't keep doing it. If this man is 60 years old and he want to keep rapping, let him rap. Maybe he will go viral. Who knows? You get what I'm saying? Maybe he won't. Maybe he just enjoy doing it. Maybe he likes his little bit of fans that he has, that enjoy him rapping at 60.
Yeah, speaking of 60, Snoop Dogg's getting pretty up there, and that fool's old. That dude's like 50 years old. He's up there. Yeah. You like Snoop, by the way?
He all right. We good.
I remember when that stuff first came out, man. Like that was like the ultimate rebellion for like my Christian parents, because the kind of stuff they were and I honestly had no idea what they were talking about. They were like rolling down the street smoking Indo.
I knew you were going to say that. I'm like, what gin and juice.
Yeah, I didn't even know what I literally didn't even know what that stuff was. I was singing it and stuff. You know what I mean? Like
right.
But yeah, I grew up on that stuff. I don't know, the mumble rap. I cannot get into that. Like, I was under the impression, like, part of the reason why you like rap is because you know, like, if you went around and messed with some of these rappers, like, they might bust a cap in you, or you might get roughed up. But you see some of these guys with yellow braces, and I mean, it's
Yeah,
they got pink hair, and they look like
yeah.
they belong like in Japan at one of those cosplay events.
Cosplays.
Yeah,
Yeah,
seriously.
yeah, yeah.
I'll tell you
Cosplay
something. I'll
event.
tell you something
Yeah,
crazy about Japan. You might like be in Japan and be on like a subway, and you
yeah.
might literally just see like one of those cosplay characters, and you're like, what the heck? Like, they just
They
walk
walk
around
around like
there. You know what I mean? They're
it's
really
the
into that.
thing.
They're really
Yeah,
into that.
yeah.
So
It's the
actually,
thing.
so I do want to ask you another question.
Absolutely.
Don't think I'm messing around on my phone over here. I'm looking
Hey
at.
man, I
I got
ain't
my questions
tripping.
right here.
You
Yeah.
got that headset on. I know you listening to something.
So, okay. Yeah. So this question is, we'd like to provide our questions in advance so that people have an opportunity to think about them, and that we're not
Right.
we don't want to catch people off guard. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Yeah.
we don't try to get you gotcha questions or anything like that. So, but this question's not on there, but how do you go from like loss to loss or failure to failure and continue to go forward? And I do want to tell you this, because about 2 years ago, I started a business, and literally, okay, so before I started the business, I read this book by, Joel Osteen.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So I'm sure even if you're not a Christian, you can listen to that stuff and take a lot out of what he's saying,
Yeah,
because it's very positive.
absolutely.
That's kind of like one of the biggest criticisms that people say about him, that he's just like 99% like positive thinking and like 1% Jesus Christ. But I enjoy listening to him because I need to be motivated and I need to be uplifted a lot of times. But anyway, he had a
Right.
book where he says, like, you need to be able to accept 20 no's for every yes. And I read that and I was like, that's ridiculous. Like, there's no way I could accept 20 no's for every yes. But literally, when I started that business, I had to accept like 200 straight no's. Like,
Yes.
literally 200 or more straight
Yeah.
no's. And so in the middle of that, I was like, what am I doing? Like, day after day, I'm going and I'm doing this. It's been 6 months. I haven't made $1. I've lost thousands of dollars now at this point. But I think in about 6 months, I got one, and then I got two, and then three, and then four, and then five, and then six, just like.
Right.
So,
Right.
but how do you, or how, not just you, I don't mean you specifically. Well, you could tell
Right.
me
Right.
you,
Just
but
in
how do
general.
people in general continue on their nose, continue on the nose or the failures? Because I honestly believe this now at 39 years old of age. I've learned way more from failing than I have from success. So the difficult times grow you and they make you think about things differently. So what's your
My take on that for sure. And you hit it right on the head when you said that you learn. This is my philosophy, right? And everything that I'm saying is regurgitated. Somebody said it at some point in time. I'm just repeating it and saying it in my own way with this beautiful voice, right? Literally, you win and you learn. You don't lose. You win, you learn. That's it. That's literally it. If you focus on losing, well, how you upset that you're losing? If you focus on learning, you're going to continue to learn. It may feel like losing, but it's not really a loss because you gained something. So it may not be paper money that you're looking for that you gain, but you gain knowledge on something that can help you get closer to the paper money.
Right.
So you win and you learn. You don't lose. That's something that I stick to, and that's what's helped me stay afloat. Now, for somebody that's struggling and they're going and it's just like it's not working, I feel like the next step is to definitely open yourself up like entirely to the spiritual side of things. because sometimes we try so hard physically that we forget the other parts, the mental, the emotional, the spiritual, and I feel like it's super important to connect with your spiritual, with whatever spirituality you believe in, to help you along and to help you understand what's going on, the dynamics that's happening. And now, if you don't believe in anything but yourself, connect with yourself. You get what I'm saying? There's always something that you can connect to that's outside of the tangible, that you can actually like start working on. Even if you just sit and listen to affirmations, concerning your business or concerning the relationship that you feel like is failing, whatever it is that you need, or you're looking for answers, you can always listen to affirmations to help bring that along. And I feel like that's always like something to consider. Not saying that that's going to be the answer to all of your problems, but it will help you, get through that muck a little bit easier if you start tapping into other parts of yourself that you ignore on a regular. So if you working hard, you working 90 hours for your business and you're only getting maybe one customer a week or one customer a month, okay, and you're not satisfied with that, you have to look outside of what you're physically doing, who else, because sometimes connecting with people isn't enough. What you're physically doing isn't enough. Sometimes you got to tap into whatever it is that you truly believe, whether it's even if it's yourself. You have to, you should take that time to do that.
That's interesting.
And yeah, definitely in my opinion. Now, definitely in my opinion, not saying that that's going to work for everybody, but it will work,
Oh, that's good.
to some degree for somebody.
So here's another question. What mental ratio do you think mental to physical ratio do you think there is in boxing or MMA? Like, do you think it's 80-20, 90-10? Like, where would you say that is? Like, is it 50-50?
For me, it's 100% mental. It's 100% mental. There's been studies that shown that when you they did a study, and I have to go back in my notes and reference it. They did a study where they had some people lined up and they had them do a test. So everybody that thought about physically being fit, like a certain muscle being bigger, all they needed to do was every day for the next like 10 to 12 days, or I think maybe a couple of weeks, they had to think about that muscle getting bigger. And then they had another set of people who thought about their muscles getting weaker every day for a certain time period at the same time, every day. And so what they found out was the people that everybody, literally they got the results that they meditated on, or that they were forced to think on at a certain time. Literally, right? Literally.
Yeah, I've heard that.
So,
I've heard that before.
Yeah. So it's definitely real. It's definitely real. Something yeah, I'm listening.
No, go ahead. Good. I'm here listening to you.
So literally all I'm saying is things react to you. Not the other way around. That's really what happens. Things react to you. If you're thinking negatively, that's what you get. If you're thinking positively, that's what you get. And you get it in different ways and at different times. So you can't really time it. But whatever you got brewing in your head, trust me, it's gonna be brewing on the outside. So, and that's really the idea. It's for at least with fighting, it's 100% mental, in my opinion. There is no way you're gonna get up to do anything physical if you're not mentally getting yourself prepared. How are you gonna get up and go running in the morning if you don't even have it on your mind to go running the night before? Or that early, or super early that morning? Mayweather don't get up at 3 a.m. and just start running without his brain. You know what I'm saying? Or without thinking about it. He has to already say, you know what, I'm gonna get up 3 a.m. I'm gonna go run.
Yeah.
Or if he wakes up at 3 a.m, he's like, yeah, I'm ready to go run. You get what I'm saying? So 100% mental, in my opinion.
That is fascinating that you say that. I mean, if you listen to some people, I'm not sure if you ever saw this movie, Little Giants, but I think you might not even remember this guy, Lawrence Taylor.
Not quite.
Football, NFL, one of the worst, most nasty linebackers to ever exist. This guy was just a monster. Any chance you know Warren Sapp?
Yeah, I've heard of Warren
Okay,
Sapp now.
so he's just on that level of just like the kind of guys. Speaking of mental, like the night before, you're just having nightmares about entering on the field of this guy. But anyway, he's on this movie and he says football is like I know I'm gonna totally butcher this, but he says something that's like 80% physical and 80% physical and 40% mental. And you're like, what the heck? That's like 120. It's like you gotta go overboard. You can't just give 100%, right? You literally have to give 110%. So he was saying you gotta give 120%. Because any chance you ever saw the movie Gattaca?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so you know the part where the guy winds up beating the android because he says I saved all my he says I used all my energy getting there, and I used, so basically that whole part was him just reaching into a different side of himself, right? So that's a really good. Okay, okay.
And honestly, actually, before we skip to the next one, when he said that 80-40, right? I can understand it being physical because some people are much more, tangible, like physical, which is one of the main reasons why I got into personal training, because I felt like there were a lot of people who wanted to attack things physically first. So, all right, so somebody come in the gym, they have a problem. I don't know what the problem is, and it really doesn't matter what the problem is. But guess what? We're gonna learn some boxing. I'm gonna let you hit this bag. You're gonna hit these mitts, and I'm gonna let you feel. I'm gonna let you let it go physically so that we can get to the mental part of it. You get what I'm saying? So some people work opposite. They're like, man, working hard physically, it gets them there mentally. And then they can start to, discover what's going on mentally and how things really work mentally. So I can understand, his philosophy for sure.
If you haven't, I'm sure you probably either have or you've at least heard of it, but have you ever read Sun Tzu's Art of War?
No, I haven't.
But I'm sure you've heard of it though, because
I have.
Yeah. If nothing else, you should really listen to it on. You can listen to it on YouTube, but it talks in there a lot about like mentality and fighting your foe, and it talks about how a lot of warfare is based off of trickery and deception. That like you got to project that you're stronger than you actually are, and there's actually an application in that as far as like the law of attraction. You got to see yourself as you want to be, not as you are right now. You got to see yourself and you have to hold on to that image of yourself being successful and overcoming whatever it is. So I got a last question for you. Yeah, so here's the last question. What do you think compels people to put their safety on the line in a ring? Yes, there's the reward, the payoff that you might get, but that seems kind of like counterintuitive a lot of the ways to hurt yourself, to train for the physical, because from what I've heard from people who do MMA, like you have to get your butt kicked on a daily basis to be able to endure that in the ring. Like you got to get physically hurt daily so that whenever you actually do step in the ring and someone's kicking you and someone's punching you in the face, that like it doesn't just totally cause you to melt down. So how do people do that? Like I don't think that's something I could do. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but that doesn't seem like if someone's punching me in the face, because I'm just not a confrontational kind of person, it seems like that would cause me to like shut down. You know what I mean? So what do you think about that?
Oh man, it's the adrenaline rush. It's just to put it kind of simple. At least for a lot of people, it's a adrenaline rush to be able to get in there and really showcase what it is that you've been working your behind off for. To be able to put this person, to have this person in front of you, and let's see who's the best. It's an adrenaline rush, honestly. The reward is great, but if you're talking about when you first get in there, you know, why in the world would you want to get in there when you could potentially lose your life?
Right.
Well, it's the adrenaline rush. You know, you get a certain type of rush when you train and you're doing well when you train. It's like, man, you know, I really am getting good, or I am pretty good.
Hmm.
Well, when you actually get into a cage or a boxing ring with somebody, it's a whole nother level of I gotta let me see if I can really do this. You know, let me prove to myself if I can really do this. So it's a mix of things for sure. But you know, a lot of it does fall on that adrenaline. Like, man, you know, I'm just excited to do this. I've been training so hard, I've been working so hard. Let me see if I can really do what it is that I've been doing in the gym. Let me see if I can really beat this person, you know, who's unbeatable, or you know, who's bigger than me or taller than me, you know, or whatever the situation is. So, you know, it's a mix of things, but I definitely jumped in. The adrenaline, man. I enjoyed it, and I felt like I got beat up so much to where, listen, there is no other beating that I could take that I can't handle at this point. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
you get whooped good.
Yeah.
You get a real whooping in the gym. So for sure.
So I would like you to close off by telling me what exactly it is you offering. Can people do it on Zoom, or does it have to be in person? And do you have a website or social media, anything like that you can talk about?
So right, so I'm currently I'm most active on Facebook, and I've been just, you know, moving around with different podcasts and doing interviews on different podcasts. So I have quite a few of them lined up on my page, and I'm still collecting them for sure. I do offer personal training, both virtual and in person. I'm currently serving the Gainesville, Ocala, Orlando areas. So anywhere in those areas in Florida, I am serving those. I am willing to travel because I am a traveling trainer. So I am willing to travel for the right price.
Hmm.
I'm also offering mentoring slash mindset coaching as well. And that's virtual or in person. It depends on, you know, the person and what they're looking for. So if it's something that you're interested in, you're more than welcome to contact me via Facebook. That's Ash Kimbe. That's ASH space KEMBAI on my
Yeah.
Facebook.
We'll
Also,
put
if
a
you
link to that.
enjoy yeah, say that again.
We'll put a link to that in the
Yeah.
description.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Also, if you enjoy, you know, listening to me talk, you know what I'm saying, you know, you enjoy my vibration, right? You're more than welcome to donate to my Cash App for sure, because everything is going towards where I'm going and what I'm doing. So that Cash App is $ASHK352. So if you want to, it's definitely up to you. You know, it's not mandatory or anything like that. But I definitely do accept donations on my Cash App, and I do appreciate everyone who has donated thus far
Yeah.
to my cause for sure. Yeah.
I'm kind of blown away by you, honestly. Not many people understand a lot of things that you're saying, and it really shows in their lives. Even the whole drama thing that you're talking about, people having a lot of drama and carrying it around their lives. Like,
Mhm.
I've been there. I certainly have been there. I'm at a different stage in my life now, but I wish I would have learned these lessons when I was 20 years old. You know, so if you're out there and helping people, I think, you know, just a big part of it is that you don't have education about certain things. And I'm not talking about going to school. I'm talking about just
Mhm.
learning, you know. And so
Mhm.
I have had to forgive myself for being a different way in my life in another
Mhm.
lifetime, because I
Mhm.
just didn't know the things that I know now, you know. So
Mhm.
if you can learn from other people, like one of my favorite quotes is like, a fool never learns from their mistakes. A smart man learns from his own mistakes, but a wise man learns from the mistakes of others. So if you can take
Mhm.
wisdom from other people, from books or podcasts, like, you really need to start your own podcast, sister. You
Oh
really
man,
need your own
I'm
like,
blessed.
that's just beyond, because yeah, here's the other thing too. It's like, there's not a lot of people, especially like from the hood, like, they're not going
Mhm.
to go and listen to these 45-year-old male motivational um, white Caucasian speakers. Like, that's not going to jive for them. So
Right.
having a younger person who understands the language, the lingo, has some flavor, some spice,
Right.
I know y'all like that spice down south, so right.
Show you right.
Yeah, so really, I mean, it's something I would definitely, you would have your first subscriber right here, but even if you just stick
I
to Facebook
appreciate that.
or Instagram, or TikTok, releasing 1 or 2 minute videos, like I think you could help out a lot of people, and then that would also serve to help you get clients in the future, And I certainly know from my end, I have a lot of resources I would like to help you out with, because you are definitely doing some good things. So
Much
really
appreciated,
appreciate that.
man. Thank you so much. I definitely appreciate it for sure. And I like that philosophy because it's right along the lines of one that I have myself. A master is a never-ending student. So I'm always learning and I'm always growing. There'll never be a time where I'm not growing. Even in my death, I'll still be growing. I'm going somewhere. You get what I mean? I'm going into something. I'm growing into something. So, I'll never stop learning. Just because my opinions and the things that I've said today are what they are now doesn't mean they're going to be like that in 5 minutes, because I can have an epiphany. You get what I'm saying? And be like, oh, wait, maybe this works like this a little bit, so it's a never ending sharing. And I don't want anybody to get accustomed to me being some kind of guru or somebody that's just going to stick to this particular philosophy and that's it and that's all, because that's not really how it works for me. So I can't give something that does not work for me that way. You get what I'm saying? I have to go along with how I'm growing. And I look forward to other people, definitely growing from anything that we've discussed, because you've discussed many things also that are definitely relevant and definitely life-changing also, even with sharing parts of your personal story. So, and I feel like you're doing an amazing job with what you're doing, and I definitely appreciate you for the opportunity. I look forward to doing some more work with you, because I feel like, man, we might have to team up quick. We might have a little gold mine on something. You know what I'm saying?
That
Korea and Florida, stop playing.
There you go. All right. That being said, we want to thank you so much for joining us today. You can check us out on our website at www.rhepodcast.com and check out some of our other videos where we're interviewing people who have some very interesting and compelling stories. I think you're definitely in the top 3 as far as people. We're right up there with the Olympian that we interviewed. So thank you for that. And we look forward to seeing you back at the next episode of RHE Podcast. Goodbye.